Hi everybody, welcome back to Taji's World of Books and welcome to another book conversation. Hey you guys, so you know if I say welcome back to a book conversation, it means I didn't love the series that I read and we're going to talk about what happened and what went wrong and why it wasn't as good as I had anticipated. So, having said that, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the series that I read this time was Meredith Wild's The Red Legend series, and these are bind-ups, and I think maybe when she first released them, she released them as like little mini novellas, because each little book is, I think there's like 9 in total. They're like really short, right? So this is a bind up of 1, 2, 3, I believe. And then this is the second one, Red Ledger Recalled, is 4, 5, 6. And then the Red Ledger Revenge is 7, 8, 9, something like that. Okay. When I read 3 books, and I sit down and think about how I'm going to share this with you guys and tell you what the book was about, and I have no freaking idea, then you know that I was not into the series at all. My mind wandered all over the place. I was totally bored. And the thing that's strange is that this had all the elements that should have made this intriguing and exciting and powerful and a really good read, and it just fell flat for me. So this is about Tristan and Isabel. And the Red Ledger is Tristan's Red Ledger. So Tristan is a hitman. He's a hired assassin. And he gets called out on jobs and he gets paid to basically assassinate people. And so the book starts off with Tristan going to assassinate Isabel, and he stands outside of her apartment and he watches her on a sort of romantic rendezvous with this guy, and he kind of is intrigued and he like watches her because he's not ready to move forward quite yet. The guy basically wants to come upstairs and have a romantic rendezvous. She basically says, you know what, not tonight, I'm not into it. And she sends him home. So Tristan then proceeds to follow her into her apartment. He watches her. She decides that she's all worked up from the little assignation that happened outside. So she pleasures herself. He watches. And as she begins to climax, she calls a name. And the name she calls is Tristan. And Tristan is like, what the fuck? He's like, I know I know her, but I don't know why. My memories are all messed up. So he leaves and doesn't follow through on assassinating her. He reaches out to his boss and he's like, you know, there's been some hiccups. Yeah, wasn't able to follow through with it, but I will. And to make a long story short, we start to realize that Tristan is a war veteran. He came back from Iraq or Afghanistan, one of those wars, and he was blown up by an IUD, and as a result, he had severe memory loss. So he was sent to like Walter Reed, and he had to convalesce and recover there, and as a result, he never recovered memories from early on. And so now, moving forward, all he knows is from his time at the hospital moving forward, and his name is Tristan Red, and hence his Red Ledger. And so he wants to know more about this connection he has with Isabel, so he's going to go and try and figure all of this out. There's a lot of different players, a lot of different political sort of movement with the CIA. There are a lot of operatives, a lot of assassins. There is obviously a budding love story between the two of them. There's something going on with pharmaceutical companies and medications that are set to cure substance abuse, but they're really putting a drug out that makes a bunch of people addicted to these drugs. And so for me, the storyline, it was all over the place. It was confusing. It was difficult for me to follow. Not one of these books for me was higher than a 3 out of 5 star. Like I said, it should have been really exciting. It should have been action-packed, and there were parts of this story that were definitely action-packed, and it was like maybe because with romantic suspense the focus tends to be more of the suspense element as opposed to the romance, and I tend to like more when it's romance heavy as opposed to the suspense. But again, like I said, it just didn't hit all of the volume. It just, even though it had all of the markers, it just didn't hit it. It was a miss. So, and then there's another guy named Mateus, and Mateus and Tristan have a long history. So Mateus is going to help Tristan to figure out what's going on with Isabel and let them escape. Help them escape so they can get away from, because now Tristan's boss has sort of recognized and realized that Tristan hasn't followed through with the assassination, and so now she has sent other assassins to kill Isabel. And so now we got to figure out what is so important about Isabel? Who is she? Who is she to this organization that wants her dead, and why do they want her dead? And so then it's all of the sort of connections. We sort of make our way back to Arlington and to Washington and Virginia, to her family's house. You start to see that her family, her mother and father, really didn't want her and Tristan together, so they had some kind of hand in Tristan's disappearance. You start to see that Tristan was really pushed into joining the military by Isabel's father. And so you're trying to understand, like, are they the culprits? Are they the bad guys? Then there's still that guy that she had this little assignation with, that little romantic rendezvous, who really wanted more from her, and I forget what his name was. He's coming back into the play. You know, he's still interested in her. He still wants to have a connection, you know, and Tristan is jealous and wants to know what's going on, but then you see that there's more than meets the eye with this other dude, and his family has sent him to develop a relationship with Isabel, so that's all sort of developing, and that happens in this book. And they're really back and forth between South America and Washington, D.C., trying to figure out and uncover the plots. This is the culmination of the story. This book is actually better than all the rest, but again, I still was really bored. I still was confused about the characters. I was confused about the assassins. I couldn't follow the storyline, and I just wasn't invested. And even at the epilogue, like, you're supposed to be like, epilogue, yes, it's a culmination of their HEA. I was like, wah, wah. So it wasn't really that exciting. So, you guys, all in all, for my book conversation, Meredith Wild was a miss for me. I do have her Hard Limit series, and I think I have all of those books in that series, so I'm going to try that and see if that does a little bit more for me, or if it works a little bit better for me. But having said that, I tried something outside of my wheelhouse, outside of the typical sort of genre that I like to read, and it was a total fail. Like I said, I gave it a 3 out of 5 star, and I think that's not generous. It's fair. It was decent. Again, you know, it is what it is. You might really enjoy it. If you guys have read this series and you really liked it, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what was good. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. So having said that, you guys, that is all that I have for today. You know I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So please like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video, and you can come and hang out with me some more. And that is all that I have, guys. So I'll see you next time. Bye.